Well, that was When Lambo, a newly penned and recorded song by Mark Battaglia. In honor of today's epic cryptocurrency meltdown, we're going to discuss that tonight. Hello, and welcome to another Smaulgld live stream. It is Monday, November 19th, 2018, and the topic of tonight's show is, why does India need 180 to 200 million ounces of silver a year? We're going to cover the need of India, where India's silver demand, where India gets all that silver, what they do with all that silver. We're going to cover it in more detail than I covered it this afternoon in the YouTube video that I did on Indian silver imports. And as I did a video earlier today, you don't have to watch it because I'm going to tell you what it says, is that we did a poll last night, or the last couple of nights, and I asked people whether they like the long shows, the short shows. Some people tell me they don't have time for the long shows. Other people tell me they like the long shows. They like to listen to them, like to come online, spend the hour with the Smaulgld game changers and have a good night of it, and others just don't have the time for it. But I wanted to do a bit of a scientific poll, it's not really scientific, but I asked our group what the game changer audience thought, and it came down basically 50-50. Half of you like the longer shows, and half of you would prefer a shorter show. So I'm going to oblige. What I'm going to do is, when I pick the topic for the evening, rather than presenting it and then trying to go back and edit and fast forward to the part of the title, I'm just going to do that earlier in the day, put out a 5 to 10 minute video with all the highlights and all that you need to know. And if that's all you're interested in and that's all you can take the time to listen to, great. At least you get a bit of Smaulgld in your craw, and then you can move on and do whatever else you have to do. But for those of you who enjoy the evening monologue and the nightly banter that we have here, I'm going to continue to do that as well. So thanks everyone for letting me know what you like, and I think I should be able to oblige. I'm not here to please everybody, but I am here to please people who are pleased by the show and just may want it in a different format. If you don't like the show, I'm not going to change the show. Okay, so let's now take a look at what happened during the day. We have to start with the crypto wipeout. This is the second one in the last couple of days, and that's why we have that song, When Lambo. That's more like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, written by Mark Battaglia, who writes all and records all of the music for the Smaulgld show here. Much obliged to Mr. Battaglia for all of his fine work on the intro music. Now, Bitcoin. Right now it's at 4,800. That's just down 12.5%. It had been down under 4,700 earlier in the day. Slightly rebounding. The big loser, Bitcoin Cash, 267. That was at like 620 a week ago. It's down nearly 20% today. Ethereum 145, down 15%. Litecoin at 36.44, down 11%. Ethereum Classic down 12% at 616. I saw that guy Tom Lee from Fundstrat playing the old, oh, we're just shaking out the weak hands. That's a favorite of people who are left holding the bag. They say, well, now that we've gotten the weak hands for the people who sold, now we're just ready to move on up. All right, let's see, what else do we have before we get into the topic? Well, we've got to talk about the gold price. Now, gold today held up, went up a bit, went up a little bit. As you can see, it went up a little bit. And that is in light of a stock market that tanked. Stock market was down nearly 400 points, at least the Dow Jones was. Still hanging above that $25,000 mark, but was down indeed. 395 points, or 1.5%. NASDAQ down 3% to 7,028. That was down 219 points. S&P 500 down 45 points, and at 2690, that was 1.66% down. Now look at the gold chart. Didn't really rally as you might expect in this big down day, but that's because the dollar also gained. The dollar index did not really plummet. The dollar index, well, the dollar index did fall today, but it kind of rebounded. It started the day at around, 940. It did go down a bit, down a little bit, But the gold price did manage to move up, but not significantly, up $2.62, up 0.21, not a big move. Silver, same story. Silver, gold closed at 12.23. And silver, our topic of the evening again tonight. Silver was at 14.41. Right now it's at 14.38 in the after hours. So again, not much of a move. Swung a bit wildly today. Went up a little bit, went down a little bit. 14.34, 14.44, back down 14.34. Closed at 14.41, at 14.38. But be thankful it didn't crash like all other assets did today, or at least the stock market assets today and the crypto assets. What does that do to your gold-silver ratio? The unsustainable gold-silver ratio never happened before in history. Well, it didn't really help what was happening today in the gold-silver ratio. We did not get much of a movement. In fact, I think it went up a bit. I think it went up a little bit. Yep, it went up a little bit. It's at 85-1, and that's because gold went up just a little bit more than the silver price went up. And I think that is all you need to know about the markets so far. Today, you got cryptos down, gold and silver holding steady, equities down. Now, we did get a... Well, wait, there's more. I do want to show you the Brink Silver, because we've been following the Brink Silver warehouse, the COMEX approved warehouse. Now, look at that, 51.7 million ounces. No one's really paying attention to this, but we here at Smaulgld Central, and you can see there, 71.7 million ounces. Quite a large gold hoard. That is larger than a record year of American Silver Eagles. But we all know who's bigger than that, and that is our buddies over at JP Morgan is buying silver. They have 800 million ounces of silver, and they are going to let it ride, and I'm going to become rich because JP Morgan has been manipulating the market for years. But then they are going to make a fortune, and so am I, because I believe everything I hear on the internet. 152.332 million ounces in the JP Morgan COMEX vault. All right, just a few other things before we get into our story. What else do we got? Well, we got, if those of you already have your Smaulgld mugs, and you are Legion, the Smaulgld game changers, the game-changing audience, we now have coffee to slap into those mugs. If those of you have the coffee mugs, I can't sell you beer online if you bought the beer steins, but I'm sure you can find it. But if you're interested in coffee, there's Blackout Coffee, America's Strong Coffee. That's they support the troops. And the other, a little more upscale, that is 100% Kona coffee. If you've ever had that, a lot of times people get, they think they're getting Kona coffee, but it's a blend. This is 100%. Might cost you a little bit more, just a little bit more. I think it's worth it, at least for a special treat. Maybe not to drink every day, but maybe only when you use your Smaulgld mug. And by the way, we had our first known Smaulgld mug tragedy. A subscriber wrote to me today and told me that his shirt tail managed to pull off a Smaulgld classic mug, and it did indeed break. So, our thoughts and prayers go out to our pal Joey, who let me know of the misfortune event. Now, he did tell me that he's going to try to replace it. He's going to send me a picture, not replace it, repair it, and try to fix it. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to go. I haven't seen the damage, but apparently it did take a full hit. All right, what else do we got before we move on up? Yes, QAnon. Now, you know we've been having Q, my mom, QAnon, and we're not quite sure what's going on with these two. The first Q, my mom, I was able to decipher clearly. Topic is key, logical thinking, buy mugs. Easy. I mean, you don't need to know much else. But then Q, a mom said to me, weather is everything, water finds its own level, history rhymes, forecast hot and humid, Warren Beatty, Mr. and Mrs. are not genders. And we figured that one out. Warren Beatty is Bugsy. Water finds its own level. Weather is everything. The weather is hot and humid. The weather is muggy. Therefore, Bugsy, Mugsy, history rhymes. We figured that one out. And he seems to be, now I got this other message. This is the first time I've received a message like a video message from, this is from Q a mom. Now I'm not sure whether it's Q a mom or Q my mom, but they're definitely messing with me because I had this sent to me in a JPEG file.
Greetings, Smaulgld. This is Q a mom. Water is wet. This message is urgent. You found the key. Mugs will save you. There will be a shortage of mugs. You are ahead of the curve. This is all you need to know.
Now, I don't know if he's mocking me with this is all you need to know, but let's listen to that again.
Greetings, Smaulgld. This is Q a mom. Water is wet. This message is urgent. You found the key. Mugs will save you. There will be a shortage of mugs. You are ahead of the curve. This is all you need to know.
Well, sounds like Q a mom is telling us that there's going to be a mug shortage. I can't vouch for Q a mom or Q my mom. Just keep that in mind. So if you want to get your Smaulgld mug, you know, it's a prepper item. I would do it today. I wouldn't wait. You can get the Smaulgld Classic and Super Classic mugs. But Q a mom says there's going to be a mug shortage. And I think you can get a beer stein. You got to get something. All right, let's take a look now at what's going on with India. Oh, I don't think we should start with that chart. I thought that's the wrong one. Let me start you out with the story of India and India's silver. Every country is different in its own way. Tolstoy said something about that, about happy families. But we did see the other night that Americans actually invest more in silver than Chinese. But Chinese invest far more in gold than anyone other than perhaps the Indians. What we're going to learn tonight is that Indians are somewhat, they're fickle investors in silver. And we're going to take a look at that. Take a little look at that. But what they really are interested in the last 5-10 years, the big reason that India wants silver, I'll tell you in a bit. We're going to go and take a look at these numbers here. Now, India mines 14 million ounces of silver every year, which is, I think it's like 14th or 15th in the world. It's not a lot. It's okay. It's about what the United States Mint will mint in American Silver Eagles this year. It's not a big amount. But they have a voracious appetite for silver. Now, why do they? Well, first of all, they got 1 billion plus people. And let's take a look at the Indian silver imports over the past 20 years. They weren't really a big silver importer until about 2008. And they imported a decent amount, but not massive amounts. But starting around 2008, they really started to pick up the pace, but consistently since 2013. And one of the things that I realized about Indian silver imports, they pretty much have been tracking the price of silver. So these years, 13, 14, and 15, where you got 6,144 tons, 7,169 tons, 8,529 tons, those are years where the price of silver was going down. And that gives you a hint of what they're doing. Generally, when the price of a commodity goes lower, like gasoline, they say, well, Dad may say, let's go on a driving vacation. Gas is cheap. You'll consume more of a commodity if it's cheaper. There's a sale on milk. Maybe you decide you're going to make a little more hot chocolate. So whatever the commodity is, if the price goes down, you tend to stock up. Price goes up, it's when you turn the thermostat down. You say, you know, oil's a little expensive this winter. Propane, we're gonna cut back. Turn it down just a little bit. Just turn it down a little bit. And that looks like what India does. In 2016, if you look at the chart, that was the year where silver pretty much came out of its doldrums and actually rose significantly from the bottom of around $13 in 2015 all the way up to almost $20 in 2016. And that's when the Indians put on the brake and they said no mas, or whatever they say in India. I don't think there's many Spanish-speaking people in India, but they said no, and they didn't say no way Jose. They said they're not buying anymore. And then as the price dropped again, you can see they picked up. And this year, even to the month, you're going to see when we look at the monthly charts, they start buying more. When I say buying more, they're importing more. As I mentioned, that 14 million tons of ounces of silver doesn't really cut the moutarde. And there are not many French people in India either. Okay, so there you can see the gestalt, the 50,000-foot overview of Indian silver imports. But let's take a look at what just happened in September. India imported 618 tons, and for those of you keeping track in ounces, that's approximately 163 million ounces. It's a lot of silver. That is a lot of silver. In fact, that's more silver imported into India in September than the U.S. Mint has sold 1 ounce American Silver Eagles all this year. So whatever anyone gets all excited about, oh, they sold 2 million Silver Eagles this month, it's a game changer, silver set to skyrocket, it's irrelevant. What happens in India is not irrelevant. India could be, dare I say it, a game changer for the silver physical market, because India does have a penchant for the shiny, but they don't go around stacking it in the same way, and there's not YouTube channels dedicated to it in the same way you have in the United States, because they're buying it for a different reason, largely for a much different reason. And so far this year, as you can see in the chart, they've imported 570 tons, which is, for those of you keeping track at home in ounces, 163,001,072 ounces. Now that's a lot of silver. 163 million ounces thus far. 2018. It's a real big amount of silver. It's a big piece of silver. Now let's take a look at what they've done this year in terms of their silver purchasing. And then we're going to compare it to silver production and where India gets the silver from. See, this is what you're not going to get if you go for, I'm going to watch the short Smaulgld video, because that is all I need to know. Well, I'll try to put in the shorter videos as much as you might need to know, but you're not going to get the full flavor. But certainly you'll probably learn more in those videos than you might listening to a rant somewhere else. Okay. Let's take a look now at another chart. And I think I want to show you, Indian silver imports the past 12 months. Now this chart is going to show you what's happening, and you somewhat can track. You can see July and August, the prices had made a little bit of a run up off their lows, and they stopped. You can see they stopped 314, 325 tons. That's still a lot of silver. But then when September, when the price really started to go back down again, they picked up the pace again. It's not necessarily a clean correspondence, but certainly by year it is. So you can see September over September, it's still a bigger increase over the 2017 September. By the way, all these charts are on Smaulgld.com. You can go there. You can look at them at your leisure. If they say Smaulgld on them, you can do what you want with them. These numbers, Nick Laird pulls them from Gold Charts or Us from the Indian website. I could do it, but I don't. So I rely on Nick, and Nick also isn't just someone who pulls numbers. He actually has a amazing operation where he not only pulls numbers from everywhere on things that you place. He's got gold charts on just about anything you might imagine, and silver charts. And it's definitely worth it if you are a gold or silver chart junkie, because he is the master chartist over at Gold Charts for Us. But in any event, that is the 1 year chart. Now, let's just look at that over a longer period of time, and you can see what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, listen to what I'm talking about. How India cuts back on its silver imports when the price rises. Now here you can see clearly. To the left is 2014, to the right is 2018. Look in the middle of the chart. That's 2016. That's when the price went up. And you can see they slowed down and now they're picking back up. So what does India need all this silver for? Well, we're going to see in a minute. Just wait a little minute. A couple of minutes. Let's look at this year versus last year. This year is a bigger year than last year so far. On your blue is 2017. In your red is your 2018. On your right is an Indian flag. On the left is Smaulgld's logo. The same one you'll get on your Smaulgld mug. All right, so you can see the red is generally outpacing the blue for most of the time, year over year. Still two strong years, 2016, 2017. Not quite 2015, but two strong years nonetheless. And I got one more chart to show you that you might not think. Now, everybody knows that China imports a lot of gold. China mines a lot of gold. And China doesn't let any of its gold leave the country, basically. India does some exports of its silver. It's not much, but they do. And I bet you can guess why they export some silver. Let me go see what our friends are doing over in the comment area. Anyone know why India might export some of its silver? Give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. No one knows. I bet you do, but you're not answering. Well, they export some of it because they have some decent jewelry makers in India, and so they export some of that. They put some added value into that silver that they either mine themselves or get from scrap or import. But you can see these are the import-export numbers. I'm not going to leave this up long because it's hard to see if you're looking on your phone or on your computer. Again, Smaulgld.com. Lots of charts there. I spent a lot of time on it. Most people, they listen to the videos and appreciate that, but you do get a lot more out of it if you go to the site. Because you can see things a lot better. And I'm not moving them in and out. And you can look at them at your leisure. All right. Now, one more thing, just to put it all in the context, and then we're done with the charts, but I'll leave this one up. India, so far this year, we did mention that they have imported so far this year, to repeat myself, 163 million ounces. Now at that pace, they are going to import a tremendous amount of silver, a very large amount of silver. In fact, I think I calculated how much silver India might import this year. 221 million ounces. At this pace, they'll import 6,800 tons or 221 million ounces. Look at the top silver mining countries over the last 3 years. The blue is 2017, the red is 2016, the orange is 2015. And what I did was I picked the top, I don't want to clutter up the chart, the top million amount of ounces that each country did over the last 3 years. So for example, Mexico's best year on the chart is 2015, and they managed to churn out 192 million OZs of the shiny silver gray metal. Okay, well, I just told you that this year, India is probably going to import 220 million ounces. In 2015, I think they imported 250 million ounces, which means that the world's largest silver mining country cannot satisfy the demand of India alone. Forget the rest of the world. Now, if you look at this chart, you can see that it requires all of Mexico and a good chunk of Peru's output to cover the needs. Well, then you're left with China, Australia, Chile, Russia, Bolivia, Poland, US, Kazakhstan, Argentina. Many of those countries need a lot of that silver themselves and aren't necessarily in the marketplace to be exporting it. So this is why I say that possibly India could be a game changer. This isn't cherry-picked data. This is data viewed in context. This isn't made-up stuff like JP Morgan has 600 trillion ounces that they stacked in some secret location deep under the bowels of a hidden bunker. No, this is data that's readily available, and it shows that India does indeed have a voracious appetite for silver. Now, what is so special about silver? Well, silver is rarer than gold, and you can put silver in yoga pants, and they are finding more uses for silver every day, and that is why the Indians are buying silver. No, wrongo star. That is not why they're buying silver. They don't subscribe to YouTube channels. They're not waiting for a COMEX default. They're not expecting China to stand for delivery, and then it'll be game over for the COMEX. No, they have more useful things to do with silver than to stack it and to stare at it and to hope one day that they're going to be part of the greatest wealth transfer on... I'm sorry. Indians buy silver for 4 reasons. 4 reasons. None of them have to do with any of that kind of stuff. And those 4 reasons are silverware, industry, jewelry, and investment. And the biggest portion of the Indians' demand for silver is jewelry. Indians' silver demand for jewelry, I'm saying this slowly on purpose, is growing at about 15 to 20% a year, according to the Silver Institute. Indians like silver. Not in the same way they like gold, and it has mythical... Gold is a love affair with India that goes back 5,000 years. Silver, however, is very attractive. It's a sign of middle-class wealth. This is what I said about gold. People don't understand that gold's #1 demand still is jewelry. It's not investment. It's not central banks are buying gold, and there is not enough gold for the central banks to buy. No, central banks only buy about 10% of the gold, take about 10% of the gold demand. It's jewelry. Well, in India, the top draw for silver is jewelry. Indians are populous, prosperous now, and they can afford silver jewelry, especially at these prices. You are a Indian guy, Indian gal, you want a necklace, you're a young person, you want to show off a little bit, you've got a decent job, buy a couple of, gold's expensive. It's 85 times more expensive. But jewelry, silver jewelry, there's no shame in jewelry, that's for sure. No shame in silver jewelry. In fact, silver is very shiny. As long as it's not tarnished, it's the most reflective. It's very attractive. And if you got some nice Indian jewelers making some great pieces, I mean, it's a bargain. Now, silverware is even more amazing. It's not growing as fast, but according to the Silver Institute, it itself is growing about 10 to 15% a year. And that means that Indians that have middle-class status, and I've spoken to some Indian friends of mine, they will give gifts in silverware. They will, I wish I should have the pictures. Next time I'll show you some pictures for my friends sent me. They will buy rose water pictures to put the rose water in. They'll buy plates to put in silver, sterling silver. They will buy a complete sterling silver set. It's a sign, again, of wealth, affluence, and a lot of it is new money. People, it's not been handed down. They will buy silverware, and that accounts for 21% of Indian silver demand, and the jewelry accounts for about 35%. So you're talking a significant amount of demand for more than half for silver in jewelry and silverware. Now, if you remember from the other night, or from any of the nights that we've spoken about silver, industry demand has been between 60 and 70% of demand for silver worldwide. India's bucked the trend there. This shows that India and Indians like the shiny for personal use. Silverware and jewelry. Interestingly enough, the investment demand, it goes up and down. And the other interesting thing about the investment demand is they don't buy coins, they buy bars. 100 kilogram bars, 500 kilogram bars, kilogram bars. Those are like, 3 ounce, 15 ounce, 32 ounce bars. And they will stack those, and the really wealthy might buy the really big bars. But that goes up and down, and that's not necessarily growing or decreasing. There's been some, I think I have the numbers somewhere. So for example, jewelry in 2010 took up like 22 tons of 22 million ounces of silver. And now that number in 2016-17 is like 55, 60 million ounces. That's a huge increase in silver for jewelry. Investment demand is ranged from 24 million ounces to 47 million ounces to 95 million ounces. And then in 2015, there was 100 million ounces in silver demand, but that was for investment. But that was in that year where silver was $13 an ounce. But then in 2016, it was only 29 million as compared to 54 million for silver jewelry. And then silverware has gone from about under 20 million ounces in 2010 all the way up to about 35 million ounces in 2016. So again, a steady increase in jewelry and silverware, whereas the investment demand was somewhat opportunistic in those periods, 2013, 14, and 15, when the price was dropping and then it went back down. But again, the bulk of that investment demand was in bars. Coins, they sell about 5 or 6 or 7 million ounces worth of coins, less than the United States. So if the Indians are going to invest in silver, they are going to stack, but they're going to stack those bars. And then the final portion of Indian demand is in industrial demand. And it's actually gone down from 2010 to 2016. It's probably go up a bit because they've signed up some more solar. They've signed up Samsung to be a producer, the world's largest factory for cell phones. But there's not that much silver in a cell phone, but still, they'll need some. But in any event, 45 million ounces in 2010 for industry, down to 36 million ounces in 2016. I've made this point many times. People just tell you, silver is so useful. We cannot live our lives without silver. They are using silver in electronics. We would not, and they go on and on and on about that, but they don't look at the numbers. The demand for industry is not growing. And all these new uses that they are finding every day. The demand for solar isn't even growing exponentially because they thrift the silver. They use less of the silver in solar panels. The real demand that I've been pounding the table for the last couple of years is the wealth effect, not the collapse effect. When people get money, remember the golden era? The golden eras, those are eras when people are rich. People don't buy gold and silver necessarily because they're in their bunkers. They buy it to go out on a Saturday night in Bombay or in Mumbai or Delhi or wherever they are. They don't buy it so they can sit at home and wait for the collapse or for China to crash the dollar. They're out there buying silver because they can buy it. Same with the Chinese. They're buying gold because they want it, because they can afford it. And I think that's something lost on the stacker community. Salivate Metal makes the point, these are precious metals, but they're also beautiful. And he's absolutely right. That's why he says he collects the coins. Not because and it doesn't hurt, but I think the idea that most people are buying gold and silver is they're preparing for some type of Armageddon is not the case. They are smart. That is why they're buying gold. No, they're rich. That's why they're buying silver and gold. All right. That's my piece, and let's go see what you guys have to say. Oh, I didn't get to introduce the piece with... Uh-oh, we got a moron here.
Presenting the distinguished international news commentator and foreign correspondent,
Smaulgld.
This has been an extraordinary week in world affairs.
No, I told Hillary Clinton that that's moronic.
The reason I wanted to play that is also because that would be the introduction to the piece we just heard about silver in India, but is because that also is created by none other than Mark Battaglia. Thanks to him for that as well. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. But again, people for the bulk of the world buy gold and silver because they can, because they got the cash to do it. not because silver is rarer than gold. And the silver-to-gold ratio is unsustainable. That's not why they're buying gold and silver. They don't even know about that. I hope I didn't insult anybody. Hope I didn't insult any a little bit. Well, let's take a look at what you have to say. All right, where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Come back. Here we are. All right. La Plata peak. Bonds sold off. Stocks sold off. Crypto sold off. PMs did nothing. Where'd all that money go? Yeah, not me. Into a mug. Yep. He bought himself a mug. It was shipped out today. La Plata peak. Speaking of mugs, I got my Stein today. It also rattles. I'm interested. I've got mine right here. Where is it rattling? Now, I think Not Me said that his mug was broken and he had to take a picture of it. I got mine in my hand. Let me. I don't hear it rattling. Please send me an email. Let me know if it's rattling. I haven't been made aware that the beer steins have any defect, but they will give a refund because Not Me sent them a picture. They sent him his money right back, and he turned around with his refund, and he ordered directly from Smaulgld headquarters a Smaulgld super classic mug, which was shipped out tonight. I shipped a few of those out today. I only ship out the Smaulgld classic and super classic mug only because you should see what it's like. I'm working in a factory here in a warehouse shipping out the mugs, and it's easier to order these things by the manufacturer, but I do have the classic and super classic mugs on hand, and I send them out with a personal note. But here's what I do. So I send these out. These are the classic, the super classic on the left and the classic on the right. So if you're interested, go to smaulgld.com and you can order those up. All right. But I am interested in that shaking in the Stein. Not Me. Your approach to the length of your show is outlandish. Would you consider taking over Comcast? They put in long days finding ways to alienate all of their customers. Yeah, well, I'm not the Sex Pistols. I'm not here to, like, spit at everyone. And anyway, but apparently some of these mega corporations act like they're punk. When will silver price skyrocket? I don't know. Max is here. Now you got the Smaulgld mugs. Let's see. Q sent me here. Q my mom or Q a mom? Which Q sent you here? Charlie Powers. This channel should have 1 million subscribers. It doesn't make any sense to me. Well, thank you, Charles. That's probably because there's too much sense on this channel. Most people want to hear a lot of nonsense, and they get addicted to it, and they just go to those channels. When's the silver price going to stock right? When China sets the price in gold and silver, and COMEX will follow London Bullion Association. All right. What happened 2006? Sorry, Where's Barry? Let me know what that refers to, and if we need to look at a chart, I'll pull it back up. Oh, I think that's the month where there was the year there was 321 tons imported. I don't know. That one is like an anomaly to me. I checked to see if that number was correct. I think that's what you're talking about. I don't know why that was so low that year, but Not Me. That wasn't anyone's mom. That was Jesse Ventura. Roger Henley. India loves silver because they just discovered YouTube channels, and then he lists a whole bunch of them there. La Plata Peak. Maybe they take their money from IRS and computer virus scams and buy silver. They call up and they say, you owe money. You owe money, we're going to come and arrest you. Okay, that could explain the uptick in silver buying. All right, what else have we got? If everybody in India just bought 1 ounce of Turbo Wind, the price... Well, yeah, it would. Well, if just a few percentage of the population just bought 1 ounce, the price would go nuts. There isn't that much. Same with gold. But the thing is, not everyone can buy some... Well, actually, everyone can buy 1/10 of an ounce of gold, I'd imagine. Or smaller piece of that, you know, $50 or something like that. It's just that most people don't. But actually... No one is ever, you're never going to convince the world to go out and buy an ounce of silver, an ounce of... What you can convince people to do is buy a necklace through marketing, to buy a ring. And that people do. And that is what's driving the demand. That's the point. You're not going to convince people. You know, you might get 400,000 people on a YouTube channel listening to silver is rarer than gold. When the hits the fan, you will want to have your stack of silver. Yeah, you're going to get a certain number of people for that. But you're going to get millions, and you do get millions of people that buy gold and silver jewelry. This idea that everyone sits around thinking about when COMEX is going to collapse and the gold-silver ratio is unsustainable, a very small percentage of people. 60% live on $3 a day. Not everyone there is buying 1 ounce of silver soon, I'm guessing. That's right. However, I did see something La Plata Peak that the middle class in India, I don't know how they define it, but the middle class in India, they say, is the same size in terms of population as the entire United States. So this does explain, you know, the silver demand for silverware and silver jewelry. And, you know, if India continues to do well, you know, it takes some time, but one could see a day where there's millions more Indians that have money, and there's millions of more Indians that will want to buy gold and silverware and jewelry, not to stack and listen to YouTube videos about how silver is the most important thing in our lives. Yes, India is going to buy so much silver, says Roger Henley, because they're going to destroy the COMEX and crush the dollar. Yes, and they want the rupee to be the world's reserve currency. Silver-backed yuan, game changer. Yep, more like 0.5% in India buys silver if there's a billion of them. Mint Mark S. I have a friend who's from India. Some of my best friends are from India. Okay, Roger Henley, they could wear a silver eagle on a chain around their necks. That is game-changing jewelry, absolutely. He went back to India to get married, says Mint Mark S.I. Saw videos of his wedding. She was adorned in more gold and silver than you can believe. Bingo star. That's it. That's your gold and silver demand. It's not in... Silver is rarer than gold. It's not in these YouTube... This is why I am stacking the shiny. It's not in the investment demand. It's in the wealth effect. It's in people who want gold and silver because it's nice looking. Oh, I miss Roger said, Lewis, you need to trust the plan. Don't be so negative. LOL. Yes. And the other one I like is, why are you against silver? You spend your whole life talking down silver. No, I don't. They do not get the distinction between talking down stupid silver narratives about JP Morgan and silver is rarer than gold and silver set to skyrocket and COMEX to fall. That's what I'm against. I'm not against silver. I actually think I'm actually promoting silver here by letting people know this is much bigger demand. It's just not based on their narrative of COMEX default and credit drying up and you'll be the last man standing with your silver stack. Sorry. If you don't get it, you don't get it. And thankfully, at least 3,600 subscribers get it on the Smaulgld YouTube channel. Yep, and he says, Mint Mark, that she's got so much gold and silver on her person, it's a huge part of the culture. It's not a bunch of stackers. And remember, if you're stacking silver for insurance, not against it, that's fine. I mean, go ahead, knock yourself out, stack it to the ceiling. But if it's for insurance, and that's what you're talking about, you're like a nerd because you're not getting into the beauty of the metals for jewelry, for, I don't know, they make stuff out of them. In India, you can buy statues. No one in America buys statues of gold or silver. You go, you can see the Indians and the Chinese, they buy actually beautiful gold and silver. We think that's gaudy or gauche or whatever, but Indians and Chinese, they love that stuff. I like that stuff. I don't have any of it, but I mean, to me, that would be considered a waste of money to have a gold statue or a silver statue. But that's American culture. It's different. Turbowin, I went silver stacking crazy from 2008 to 2017. Now I'm crazy for Bitcoin when it hits 1,000. So you're gonna be of the if you win, you win. If you lose, you still win. Like you're gonna buy Bitcoin now, and if it goes up, you win. If it goes down, you buy more. Is that what you're saying? All right, I made my 70% on Palladium, says Turbowin. That's a good one. Yeah, where's Barry? 100 kilogram and 500 kilogram. That's a bar. I mean, that is... I don't even know how you carry that. I don't even know how you make that. It's like a monster box. I guess it's a big slab. But they said in that report that that's high net worth individuals that buy. I would imagine you're going to lay down 10 large for a bar of silver. India uses the vast majority of silver for industrial goods, such as silver solder. No, that's not the vast majority. Of their industrial goods, that's only a portion of their, again, according to the Silver Institute, industrial demand is only about 20-25%. But in the world, that's true. The vast majority of silver is used for industry. The big increase in Indian silver demand is for personal use. Silverware, jewelry, and a bit of investment. All right, we got any other questions or comments? Game changers? I guess not. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining me tonight, and I'm looking for a Smaulgld patron. Anyone want to join the 19 Smaulgld patrons? Please, you can sign up and join the Smaulgld patrons or the Mug Club. There we go. Bingo star. And don't forget the coffee and the mugs. Now, oh, by the way, if you're interested in buying gold or silver, you can do so through the Smaulgld site. Not investment advice, not telling you to buy gold or silver. But if you're going to do so, you might as well do it through the Smaulgld site, because Smaulgld gets a small commission. And that's the best reason to do anything. But you can buy at SD Bullion, and you pay no more, no less than if you visited the site directly. So whatever specials they got going on there, that's good. You can check them out. There's some other good bullion dealers. Money Metals Exchange. You can check out what they got going on over at Money Metals Exchange. They're all on the website. And a Golden Eagle coin. The coolest thing, though, are the Litecoin silver rounds and the Bitcoin silver rounds. They may become collector's items. They're only available at Golden Eagle coin. But there's the Litecoin silver rounds. Oh, that didn't show up. You got to do it again here. You could check that out. Pull it up like that. Give it a space. Those are your Litecoin silver rounds. And then there's one for Bitcoin silver. They also have Monero. They have a whole bunch of them. So just check that out. All right, what's the last question here? What do we got? We got my pumping of mugs. What are you recommending as far as putting, let's say, $500 per month? As Donald Trump would say, what a stupid question. The reason that's a stupid question, if you've been listening to this channel, there's only one thing I would ever recommend anyone buy. And I'm waiting for someone to type it into the chat bar. What would be the one thing, the only thing I would ever recommend anyone buy? Crickets. Give you a hint. In fact, I'm not even going to tell you. It's going to be show and tell. There's only one thing that I would ever recommend that anyone buy. And if you've been listening to this channel, you know it. And I'm going to have to play something for you so that maybe you'll get the point what this channel is all about. It's not about anything. Do you think it's about silver or gold or all that kind of stuff? Nope. It's about one thing and one thing only. I know the suspense is killing you, but I can't find it now because this thing is up. Maybe you'll never know. Oh, I know where it is. And you'll hear it in a minute. Silence is golden, not silver. You ever hear that? They always say silence is golden. They never say silence is silver. It's another reason why the gold-silver ratio is 86-1. Silver is not it's not the prized metal. And remember, when the big demand is for jewelry, you want to get married, try giving your fiance a silver ring and see what happens to you. It's not going to be a fun conversation. You might get called a cheapskate. You might not get married. I mean, that's how bad it is. Silver's nice, but it's just not the it just isn't the metal that has the allure. It's not what people want. They don't dislike it, but there's a reason for it. All right, let's see if I can play for you, unless somebody's already got the answer in the thing there. Oh, wow. I got hugs, hookers, drugs. Not me. I think somebody might have the right answer over there. But this is an opportunity. I'm not going to miss it to play this. Let's see if I can. Let's see if. No, that's not the one I want to play. You guys are very patient. Appreciate that. But I think it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. When we get there. Well, you're all guessing, which is good. So this is why people don't like the longer ones. Why am I listening to this guy trying to find something on his computer for 10 minutes? My dog needs walking, but it'll be worth it. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Ten reasons why you should buy a Smaulgld mug. Reasons to buy and hoard mugs. Number 1. Mugs have been used for drinking for more than 5,000 years. Number 2. They are finding more uses for mugs every day. Number 3. We could not live our lives without mugs. Number 4. The Russians and Chinese are buying mugs hand over fist. Number 5. Mugs are made in China. Number 6. Mugs are hard assets. Number 7. Mugs are real wealth. Number 8. Mugs cannot go to zero. Number 9. Mugs are portable. Number 10. Mugs are drinking vessels, period. Wait, there is more. You can mix Mountain House in a mug. You can carry your barter silver in a mug. You can do many things with mugs that you cannot do with fiat currencies. Measure your wealth in mugs. They have mugs at the offices of JP Morgan and central banks. That is all you need to know. When the excrement hits the fan, you'll want to have your Smaulgld mug close by. Buy your Smaulgld mugs today. Reasons to buy and hoard mugs. Number 11. You can stack mugs. As you can see here, mugs are stackable. Add to your mug stack today. Buy a Smaulgld mug. Reasons to buy and hoard mugs. Number 12. You can put coffee in a mug. As you can see here, someone very clever has done so. Buy a Smaulgld mug today. Reasons to buy and hoard mugs. Number 13. You can put cognac in a mug. As you can see here, someone is thinking of putting cognac in a mug. Buy a Smaulgld mug today. Reasons to buy and hoard mugs. Number 14. You can display a mug on a studio soundboard. As you can see here, someone has displayed a mug on a studio soundboard. This highlights how versatile mugs can be. Mugs can be put in countless places, and we intend to show you as many of those places as possible. Buy a Smaulgld mug today. Reasons to buy and hoard mugs. Number 15. Mugs do not require electricity. As Smaulgld subscriber Wild Bill points out, mugs will still be usable after an EMP. Mugs do not require electricity. Here is a picture of a Smaulgld mug and another Smaulgld mug. They will look the same before and after an EMP and never require electricity. Buy a Smaulgld mug today. Reasons to buy and hoard mugs. Number 16. Mugs are undervalued. The price of mugs is about the same price as it was 10 years ago. This means that mugs are one of the most undervalued assets on the planet. Buy a Smaulgld mug today. Reasons to buy and hoard mugs. Number 17. You can hold your keys in a mug. Keys are very important. You can hold your keys in a mug. As you can see here, someone has put their keys in a mug. Buy a Smaulgld mug. Reasons to buy and hold mugs. Number 18. You can defend yourself with a mug. Mugs make great defensive weapons. In many states, you can open carry mugs. In all states, you can conceal carry mugs. Protect yourself with a mug. Buy a Smaulgld mug today. Well, there's your answer. Whatever you get out of this channel, it's not about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, the economy, anything. It's all about the mugs. As Q, a mom says, there's going to be a mug shortage. Be prepared. We'll see you tomorrow.